Since I praised Dilbert so much in my other videos, you would think Dilbert is my favorite comic strip, right? Wrong. Is it Calvin and Hobbes? No. Is it Garfield? No. My favorite comic strip is Non-Sequitur by Wiley Miller, a social and political satire that partially consists of one-shot jokes, which is basically one illustration with one caption. But it also features stories. Some of them is actually quite long for being, comic strips. The subject for today's character file is one of the main characters in Non-Sequitur, Danae Pyles. So, how do I best describe this character? Well, imagine that Daria Morgendorffer and Bart Simpson had a child together. Yeah, disturbing thought, isn't it? Danae is a very intelligent 7-year-old girl with her own views on philosophy, politics, and religion. What makes the character so endearing is that even if she is smart enough to understand and even question so complex issues, she still acts like a little kid, and she likes the same things that most girls in her age would like, such as tweeting, watching TV, and riding horses. She is also a nonconformist that likes to go against what people tells her, or she turns their words around. I hope you understand what I mean with that. Danae's pranks is actually quite elaborate, whether they are about making money, changing the world, or simply her expressing herself, but often it ends up blowing up in her face. Danae's family, the Pyles, mostly consists of characters that started out in other stories, but Wiley Miller had a genius idea to assemble them into one family. So in a sense they are like the Avengers of comic strips. Her best friend is the family pet Lucy, a pygmy horse that Danae brought home from riding camp. Lucy is very intelligent and can actually talk. She is a pessimist that often points out the faults in Danae's schemes, but is never above following along on her misadventures. Danae's younger sister Kate is just as intelligent as her, but unlike Danae, she is much more subdued, and mostly spends her days reading books and making sarcastic comments. Their dad, Joe, a former radio host, does his best to raise his two daughters, but is often overwhelmed by Danae's unusual behavior. Danae's mother, Jennifer, is never seen in the series. She is only mentioned, but we do know that she left the family for a biker guy. In one of the most beloved Non-Sequitur stories, Danae starts her own religion and made herself the Messiah. She even made up her own version of Genesis that goes something like this, and I'm quoting from my memory here. In the beginning, God created two worlds, one for the girls and one for the boys. The booger-brained boys' world became a mess, while the smart girls became a utopia until they collided, which is why there is no dinosaurs today. Yeah, Danae has shown to dislike boys a lot, especially the ones in her age. She had that special nickname for them, booger brains. There's nothing malicious about it. Like many kids, she has this child mentality that people of her opposite sex are stupid, and like most of us, she will most likely outgrow it. There is actually one boy that Danae seems to be in love with, and that's Jeffrey. Jeffrey is a genius when it comes to science and technology, but is somehow ignorant to Danae's affection. He often overthinks Danae's jokes, that are often meant to be flirty, until Danae just, gives up. In the beginning, it was Jeffrey that was in love with Danae, but the dynamic changed over the years. Personally, I like the new way better. It shows that Danae's dislike of boys is just something she says to keep up her street credit, as she calls it, or it's just due to her youth. Danae is very much a social piranha that enjoys being different from the rest, and she really succeeds with that. In one of the recent comics, she actually managed to make Groundhog Day a legal holiday to get a week off from school, and you can just see by the picture to understand how she did it. Yeah, she's quite a manipulative little brat, isn't she? She can also be very over the top, like when the TV was broken and she screamed for 12 hours solid, and then when the technician came, she raised her arms and shouted, "All praise the mighty cable company and the angel of mercy it has sent." She does things like that all the time. It's really freaking funny. Danae is the reason why Non-Sequitur is my favorite comic strip ever. And I really hope that now when Wiley Miller has created other segments of the comic, such as Homer the Reluctant Soul and others, that he don't forget about Danae and her family, because that's really the part that makes me come back to this comic and read it again and again. And that was all I had on Danae Pyles. If you never read Non-Sequitur before, you can go to Go Comics, which is a website you can read as much comic strips as you want. I will leave the link below. And I'm sorry I wasn't able to find that many good pictures for this character file. But yeah, hopefully it went down pretty well despite that. See you next time.